Hi students, in this video lecture I would like to explain you about atropisomerism. Okay, so in this lecture you are going to learn the definition of atropisomerism and criteria to exhibit atropisomerisms and configuration, how to assign configuration, RS configurations for atropisomers, and a few examples I am going to discuss in this video lecture. Please listen carefully. It is very important concept in stereochemistry. Okay, so atropisomerism. To understand this concept, first let me give you a simple example. Okay, biphenyl system. Okay, biphenyl system. Biphenyl system. So this is the biphenyl system. Okay, two phenyl rings connected with a single bond is called biphenyl system. Okay, so here this compound is unstable due to steric repulsion between these ortho-substituted hydrogens. Okay, so this is unstable compound, unstable conformer, unstable due to steric repulsion between ortho-substituted hydrogens, ortho-substituted hydrogens. Okay, so because of this steric repulsion, this compound, this conformer is unstable. So this compound, what it does to avoid this steric repulsion, to decrease or to reduce the steric repulsion, so this upper phenyl ring can be rotated through this single bond, pivotal bond, so that this biphenyl system will not be in planar, in planar. Both the aromatic rings or biphenyls are not able to be in planar structure. So because of this rotation about this CC single bond or this pivotal bond, so the biphenyl systems converted to stable conformers. Okay, stable conformers. This is the pivotal bond. Pivotal bond. What is pivotal bond? A single bond between two phenyl ring system is known as pivotal bond. Okay, is known as pivotal bond. Okay, so one of the ring rotated about this pivotal bond and produce non-coplanar conformer, produce non-planar. So because of rotation about pivotal bond, produce non-planar conformer, okay, non-planar conformer. Non-planar conformer. So it is converted, this is stable conformer, this is stable conformer. Okay, why it is stable? because the repulsion, steric repulsion between these two hydrogens or ortho positioned hydrogens is reduced in this structure. Okay, so this upper ring is in this plane, right, and this below ring is in this plane. Okay, perpendicular to each other. Okay, this upper ring in this plane, in plane, and this is out of plane like this. Okay, so because of that, the steric the distance between these ortho positioned hydrogens will be enhanced or increased sufficiently. So therefore steric repulsion absent in this conformer. Okay, so steric repulsion reduced, steric repulsion reduced, and this upper ring in plane, this upper ring is in plane, this below or bottom ring is in outer plane. Okay, so here the torsional angle is about 44 degrees. Okay, the torsional angle is about 44 degrees. Okay, so what is torsional angle? The angle between the two planes. The angle between the two planes can be known as torsional angle. So because of this steric repulsion, it is unstable planar compound or planar conformer. Therefore one of the ring rotated about this pivotal bond and produce this stable conformer. In this stable conformer, one of the ring is in one plane, in another ring is outer plane. That means they are perpendicular to each other. Okay, these two rings can be rotated about 90 degrees if the substitutions are bulky. Okay, but in the case of hydrogens, the torsional angle is about 44 degrees. Okay, about 44 degrees. So you remember one important thing in chemist, and which is always correct the answer, always the right answer, that any chemical reaction or any changes in their molecular structures is due to get the stability, or to avoid some repulsions or some interactions. Okay, so that is the common point in chemistry. Okay, so because of to get the stability, to avoid or to reduce the interactions, molecules always try their best to be stable. Okay, so in this case that was happen. Okay, so here, so this is non-planar, compound, non-planar, that means it is out of plane. So it is like this, the ring is like this, above ring is like this, below ring is like this. Okay, perpendicular to each other. Okay, so why the structure has been changed in this conformer, stable conformer, to avoid steric repulsion between these ortho-positioned hydrogens. Okay, and because of this reason, these biphenyl systems exist in non-planar systems. Okay, exist in non-planar systems, right? I hope you understand this simple example. Okay, so suppose these rings these rings substituted with different substitutions, okay, and it converted this coplanar structure to, so I'll write this first of all. Okay, so that means this ring is in outer plane, okay, C, A, okay. You see, this conformer mirror image of this one, okay, this conformer is mirror image of this one, okay. You see, observe, so this is the mirror image of this one, okay, and these compounds can be called as enantiomers, enantiomers. So if you keep this conformer on this conformer, they are not superimposable, okay, they are not superimposable. So these two are non-superimposable mirror images. Therefore these two compounds are stereoisomers called enantiomers. These two conformers are called enantiomers because they are non-superimposable mirror images, okay. So when this kind of stereoisomerism exists, and what are the criteria for this, so let me explain you all those things very clearly, okay. So these two are non-superimposable mirror images, therefore they can be called as enantiomers, and they are optically active compounds, okay, optically active compounds, okay, optically active compounds, okay. So why this when this kind of stereoisomerism is possible, let me explain you those information, okay. Suppose, first let me give you definition for heteropisomerism. Definition for heteropisomerism. What is heteropisomerism? The prevention of rotation about pivotal bond, the prevention of rotation about pivotal bond to produce stereoisomers, to produce stereoisomers is called heteroisomerism. Heteroisomerism. Okay, so the prevention of rotation about pivotal bond to produce stereoisomers is called heteroisomerism. So the prevention of rotation of about pivotal bond by you can add something here, by substituting sufficiently bulky groups to produce stereoisomers is called heteroisomerism. Okay, the prevention of rotation about pivotal bond by substituting sufficiently bulky groups at ortho position to produce stereoisomers is called heteroisomerism. So this is the way you can understand that this is B and this is A, and here C and here D. Okay, so actually if the substitution ortho substitutions, if ortho substituted groups are smaller, this can be reversible. Okay, this can be reversible. That means this conformer converts to this one and this convert back to this conformer. Okay, or this stereoisomer. When if ortho substituted groups are smaller, in the case of hydrogen, so this will be happen. Okay, this will move forward and this will come back. Okay, why? Because hydrogen size is very small. So what we do in heteroisomerism, we will substitute bulky groups at ortho positions on phenyl rings so that this will not come back to another isomer or like this. Okay, so this will not convert it back to this isomer, stereoisomer. Okay, only they exist as two pure isomers, they exist as independent isomers, stereoisomers. How? When we substituted these ortho substituted groups with bulky groups, sufficiently bulky groups, this will not convert back to the this stereoisomer. So they exist as independent stereoisomers. This is called heteroisomerism. Okay, so here you look at the definition once again. The prevention of rotation about pivotal bond. Okay, so we are restricting rotation about this pivotal bond by what? Substituting different sufficient bulky groups. So this will not convert back to this isomer. Okay, both exist as independent stereoisomers, and they are mirror images, non-superimposable mirror images. Therefore, they can be called enantiomers. This phenomenon is known as atropisomerism. This phenomenon is known as atropisomerism. Okay, I hope you understand. Okay, so when the ortho substituted groups are smaller, so both the isomers are at equilibrium, so one can convert to another isomer and this isomer convert back to this isomer. Okay, so they will be exist as 50% and 50% if the equilibrium, they are in at equilibrium. Okay, unresolvable stereoisomers. Okay, but in atropisomerism, what we do, we restrict that rotation about this pivotal bond, and therefore this will not convert back to this isomer. Therefore they exist as independent isomers. This phenomenon is called atropisomerism. This phenomenon is called atropisomerism. What we are doing here, we are preventing the rotation about this pivotal bond. By what? Substituting sufficiently bulky groups at ortho positions. Because of that, they produce stereoisomers, independent stereoisomers. Both. This phenomenon is called atropisomerism. This phenomenon is called atropisomerism. I hope you understand this definition. Okay. So this is the definition for atropisomerism. Okay, atropisomerism. And what are the criterias to exist? Criterias for existence of stereoisomers. Or in this case atropisomers. We will look at this. Okay, so there are two criteria which can play important role for the existence of atropisomers. Atropisomers are nothing but existence of independent stereoisomers by restricting pivotal bond rotation to produce stereoisomers, or by substituting sufficiently bulk groups at ortho position. So that is atropisomers, and that phenomenon is called atropisomerism, as I said previously. Okay, so there are two criteria for existence of atropisomers. So the first criteria is neither ring should have a vertical plane of symmetry. A vertical plane of symmetry. Neither ring should have a vertical plane of symmetry. So here I'll explain you about this condition. Listen carefully. Okay, in this molecule, so this is the axis, actually vertical axis, and if you put plane through this vertical, you will get the two equal parts. Okay, it produces two equal halves of this molecule. Therefore, this conformer has a vertical plane of symmetry. Okay, this conformer has this vertical plane of symmetry, vertical plane of symmetry, plane of symmetry. So if this kind of vertical plane of symmetry exists in a molecule, such kind of molecules will not exhibit heteroisomerism. They will not be exist as heteroisomers. Okay, so this is it clear for you? Okay, so neither ring should have a vertical plane of symmetry to exhibit heteroisomerism, to exist as heteroisomers. Okay, so that is the first condition or first criteria you have to keep in your mind. Okay, so I'll give you another example. NO2 or CH3 like this. So here what happens, this upper ring has plane of symmetry, vertical plane of symmetry. Okay, below ring, even below ring does not have vertical plane of symmetry because two ortho substitutions are different. But in the case of upper ring, two ortho substituted groups are similar. So therefore this upper ring contains vertical plane of symmetry. So this is the vertical plane of symmetry. Okay, upper ring. Therefore it is also optically inactive. Optically inactive. And it does not produce, it does not exhibit heteroisomerism. Heteroisomerism does not exhibit heteroisomerism. So why? Because neither ring should have a vertical plane of symmetry. In this example, first example, both the rings have vertical plane of symmetry, and in the second example only upper ring has vertical plane of symmetry because of similar groups substituted at ortho position. Okay, so that is the meaning of this first criteria. Neither ring, that means any of these two rings should not have a vertical plane of symmetry in their structure. Then only they can exhibit heteroisomerism. They will exist as heteroisomers. Okay, so that is the first criteria you need to keep in mind. Okay, and the second criteria to exhibit heteroisomerism, the second criteria, ortho substituted groups must be sufficiently large. Okay, so this is the second criteria to exhibit heteroisomerism. Okay, ortho substituted group must be sufficiently large, then only they can exhibit heteroisomerism. So if the ortho substituted groups will not be sufficiently large, then those molecules does not exhibit heteroisomerism, they will not exist as heteroisomers. So that is the second criteria you have to remember. Okay, I'll give you this example. I'll give you this example so that you will understand heteroisomerism criteria. Okay, OMe. So this is outer plane ring. Okay, this is outer plane of ring. NO2 OMe NO2. Okay, so here ortho substituted groups are sufficiently large, therefore these two isomers exhibit heteroisomerism. So they can exist as heteroisomers. Okay, these two isomers called heteroisomers. And this phenomenon is called heteroisomerism. And the condition, the criteria to exhibit heteroisomerism or to exist as heteroisomers, the ortho substituted groups must be sufficiently large. Okay, the ortho substituted groups must be sufficiently large, therefore they restrict the rotation about this pivotal bond and they exist as heteroisomers, and this phenomenon is called heteroisomerism. Okay, I hope you will understand with this example. So these are the two criterias you have to keep in your mind to understand about heteroisomerism. Okay, so these are the two criterias for existence of heteroisomers. Okay, the first criteria is neither ring should have vertical plane of symmetry, and the second criteria to exhibit heteroisomerism is that ortho substituted groups must be sufficiently large, therefore they restrict the rotation about the pivotal bond and they exist as heteroisomers. So that phenomenon is called heteroisomerism. I hope you understand these definitions and examples about heteroisomerism. Okay, so here I'll give some more examples so that you will understand very well about this concept. Okay, so here I'll give you some examples A and A. B or A and A, and one more example I'll give you so that you will understand A and A, C and B. Okay, and one more example I'll give you. A, B, A, B. Okay, so another example I'll write A, B, C and D. Among these four examples, if we look at, so it has a vertical plane of symmetry, neither both the rings, therefore it will not exhibit heteroisomerism. So in this case, the upper ring has vertical plane of symmetry. These kind of molecules also does not exhibit heteroisomerism. So but here it can exhibit heteroisomerism because A, B and AB both are different. A can be equal to A, B can be equal to this B, okay? But these on a single phenyl ring, the two ortho substitutions should not be same. But at upper ring and below ring, they may have same kind of substitutions, no problem, because it doesn't have plane of symmetry, because they are bulky groups na. Because why, you know, so here this ring, one of the ring is in outer plane na? And this is also one of the ring is in outer plane. So therefore this does not have vertical plane of symmetry, and this is also does not have vertical plane of symmetry. And if A and B or A and B and CD sufficiently large substitutions, both examples can exhibit heteroisomerism. Both the examples exhibit heteroisomerism. Okay, so two criteria must be fulfilled. What are those two criteria? It should not have vertical plane of symmetry, and it should have sufficiently large ortho substituents. So if both the criteria fulfilled in biphenyl rings or any system, then those molecules exhibit heteroisomerism. They will exist as heteroisomers. Okay, is it clear? Right. So next we will see RS configuration, how to assign RS configuration for biphenyl systems or heteroisomers. Assigning RS configurations in heteroisomers. Okay, how we can assign RS configurations in heteroisomers? So this I am going to explain you now. Okay, so here this one of the ring is in outer plane. So one of the ring is in outer plane. Okay, and note. So this is the example I want to explain you how to assign RS configuration. So here you know that this molecule has chiral axis. These are all chiral axis molecules. Chiral axis molecule. So in previous cases I explained you about stereoisomers which has stereo center. Okay, in those compounds, because of the stereo center, chiral center, Chiral center means 4 different groups attached to the central carbon atom, that is chiral center. Okay, therefore because of that chiral center they exhibit stereoisomerism, so they can exist as enantiomers and diastereomers, therefore they are optically active compounds. Here also, so these molecules may not have chiral center, but they may have they have chiral axis which is similar to chiral center. Okay, because of this chiral axis this molecule exhibit optical activity. Okay, these molecules exhibit optical activity. So suppose if you view this molecule from this side, so if you view this molecule from this side, so which is near to you? This ring. Okay, the nearer ring is called, this is proximal ring, and the away ring is known as distal ring. Okay, the distal ring. Okay, if you view this molecule from this side, okay, the nearer ring is considered as proximal ring, the away ring considered as distal ring. Okay, and for proximal ring first you need to give priority, order of priority according to Korn-Ingold-Pralag rules. Okay, so if you give priorities to this proximal ring, you need to give first and second priority to the proximal ring and third and fourth priority to the distal ring. Okay, in this case this is proximal ring, so first and second priority should be given to this ring ortho substituted groups. Okay, so in this case, so in this group oxygen is the directly attached to atom, here nitrogen is directly attached to atom from this side. So oxygen has more atomic number than nitrogen, therefore this gets first priority and this labeled as second priority. Okay, now you go for the distal ring, and in distal ring third and fourth priority should be given according to Korn-Ingold-Pralag rules. Okay, so third priority labeled to this oxygen and fourth priority to this nitro group. Okay, then in the next step, okay, this is the first step. Okay, if you view molecule from this any side, the nearer ring consider as proximal ring and the two ortho substituents can be given 1 and 2 priorities, and the away ring, the distance ring can be called as distal ring, and those ortho substituted groups can be given 3 and 4 priorities. Okay, once it is finished to give priorities for 4 groups, then you can write the Newman projection for that. Okay, Newman projection means, okay, so this is the back carbon, and so in this case we are viewing from this side, so this is in this plane, outer plane. Okay, so that means this ring nitro group on up and OMe will be down. So here, so here nitro group up, that means second priority here, and first group away down, that means first priority will be given here, and the next horizontal, this is away from you, it will go from back. Okay, so now if you view from this molecule, your left side is nitro group, and that means third fourth priority, your right side is third priority. So that means right side third priority and left side fourth priority. Then once you finished giving these priorities and converted to Newman projection formula, and then connect a dry arrow mark from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. Okay, here 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. So the path shows it is the clockwise direction, clockwise path. Okay, clockwise direction. So clockwise direction, therefore it is R configuration. The configuration of this molecule biphenyl system is R configuration. Okay, so when you view from this side, you will get R configuration, and if you see another side also, you will get the same configuration. So let us check. Suppose if you view this molecule from upper side, this side, so what is the proximal ring? Which is the proximal ring? So this is the proximal ring. Okay, this is the proximal ring, which is nearer to you because you are observing this molecule from this side. Okay, then give the priorities like this, here 1 and here 2. And what about this is distal ring, this is distal ring, and priorities, this is 3 and this is 4. Now you can convert that into Newman projection, So here, so I'll write here in this side. So this is R configuration, and here you write this. So you are viewing this molecule from this side, therefore this is proximal ring, they gets 1 and 2 priority, and this is distal ring, they gets 3 and 4 priorities. Okay, so here the vertical line substitutions, this one. Okay, so 4 is upside, 3 is downside. Okay, so this is back side. Okay, I am writing this side. NO2 is upside, fourth priority, down is 3, and the proximal ring is this horizontal. So when you observe this molecule, your right side is NO2, left side is OMe. So that means left side 1, right side 2, left side 1, right side 2. Okay, so if you connect from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, you will get this kind of rotation. Okay, so that kind of rotation. So clockwise rotation, that means R configuration. Clockwise rotation, that means R configuration. So if you view this molecule from this side or that side, you will get the same configuration because the molecule is same molecule. We are assigning RS configuration. Okay, to assign RS configurations in atropisomers, you have to remember that if you observe a molecule from a side, whichever is nearer the ring, that ring is called proximal ring, and the substitutions at ortho positions gets 1 and 2 priorities according to Kahn-Ingold-Prelag rules, and the away ring is called distal ring, and the substitutions at that ortho positions will be 3 and 4. Okay, then convert them into Newman projection. Okay, first you draw the circle, and whichever is nearer, you can draw the line through that circle, and whichever is away from you, you can write the line from back side. Okay, and the proximal numbers will get accordingly, and the distal ring numbers, priority numbers will get accordingly. So once you write the priorities, then connect arrow mark from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, and if it is clockwise direction, it is OR configuration. If it is anti-clockwise direction, it is S configuration. So that you need to keep in your mind, so that you can assign any these kind of atropisomers. Okay, so this is the way you can assign RS configurations for atropisomers. I hope you understand clearly with this example. Okay, so we'll solve some more examples. Suppose this is another example which has and here COOH, carboxylic acid, COOH and NO2. How we can give RS as configuration assignment for this? Okay, so if you view this molecule from this side, okay, this is proximal ring and gets first and second priority. Among these two ortho substitutions, nitrogen has more atomic number than carbon, therefore first priority and second priority. And the away ring, this is called distal ring, and both the substitutions will get the 3 and 4 priorities. So nitro group gets the third priority, carboxylic acid gets the fourth priority. Then you can convert this into Newman projection. Okay, so you are viewing this molecule from this side. Okay, so this is in this plane, therefore nitro group is top and COOH is bottom. So this can be through this circle, and nitro group means first priority, COOH group is second priority, and the distal ring backside, it will go from backside, and third left side, nitro group left side, and carboxylic acid right side, fourth group. Okay, then you connect 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. This is also clockwise direction. Okay, clockwise direction. So therefore this configuration is R configuration. Okay, this molecule or atropisomer or stereoisomer has R configuration. This is R configuration. Okay, so this is the way you need to give priorities accordingly, proximal ring and distal ring, and you can convert them into Newman projection, and then finally you can draw arrow mark from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. So if it is clockwise direction, you will get R configuration. If it is anti-clockwise direction, you will get S configuration. Okay, this is the way you need to give RS configuration for atropisomers. Okay, for atropisomers. Okay, so I'll give you some more examples in the next class. Thank you so much. You can practice at home thoroughly, so that if you get any doubts, you can post your questions in the comment box, so that I can address your questions and I'll give you answers. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can do that. Okay, thank you for watching this video, and if you watch this video first time, you can subscribe, and if you like this, you can click the like button. Thank you so much. Bye.